back, everybody. Rect here. Today we have an old VOD review from a player I used to coach back at the beginning of this year. I wasn't sure if I wanted to post this, but I decided I'm going to put out a few of these older reviews while I'm catching up on the game, and hopefully some people still find them useful. I've gone ahead and edited out a lot of the talk about meta, but there's still some in there, so just keep in mind that the meta is not going to be the same as it was back then, and that some heroes have gotten changed. I mean, it's been, I think, 3 or 4 seasons since this review, so there have been some changes to the game, but nothing too crazy. So without further ado, let's just get right into this VOD. Are we still in spawn? We are. There we go. Spawn doors have opened. Great thing about push is that it's only 10 minutes, so hopefully I don't talk for 2 more hours.
It's no problem, really.
Alright, let's look at comps because I didn't do that. We have... it looks very, very standard. They have like the meta from 3 weeks ago, which is...
We were all expecting an Orisa, but when we turned the corner, we heard the Doomfish shot. It was like, oh wait, they have Doom, what? So there was a little bit of confusion there, but...
We also have very standard comp. We have Burn on the Genji. I guess comfort pick. Again, Genji's not very good right now, but if you have a player that's good at Genji, you can play Genji. Like, it works. Now that I know you obviously haven't seen their comp yet, but right now, now that they have a Doom, what changes, from Orisa to Orisa, now it's Orisa versus Doom, what do you need to change about your playstyle?
Save the spear for block, always. And when he's punching, fortify.
Right.
Or when he's
You
charging.
specifically can deny pretty much everything that Doom wants to do. Pretty much everything. So your whole team is, well, I do like off angles with the Sojourn. So normally I preach, I'll say every time I'm in a block with you guys and you have a Sojourn, I'll be like 2 angles, 2 angles, 2 angles, 2 angles. Get your Sojourn. You'll Sojourn and your Kiriko will start somewhere that's not with you. And then when it gets dicey, your Kiriko will go back to you to keep you alive, and your Sojourn will kind of do her own thing at her own pace. If she needs to come back to the group, she can. With Doom, you don't need to do that as much. You don't really want to isolate yourself. Ideally, and this is what I said in my coaching notes, you want to identify what your comp wants to do and what their comp wants to do, and then you need to play into that, right? So here when
I know their thing was okay, they want to dive our backline. So most of the time, or when I thought about it, I wanted to stay close to my Kiriko and do it basically to my Kiriko, so that I could basically protect her a little bit, be this big fat bodyguard. No.
Yeah.
that was.
Do you play any amount of Doom?
When I thought about this, not really.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this question anyways, regardless of what your answer was, but it'll be easier for you to answer if you play Doom. And it's okay, you don't need to stress about this, but who does the Doom want to go on in your comp? Who can he kill? Who is his target that he can actually get on top of and maybe do something to?
The Genji or the Kiriko?
It's the Sojourn. Sojourn's going to be his first target, and
but
the reason why
just slide away.
The reason why is, well, man, what was the old comp called? It was the one everyone had an escape, right? So the old meta, the Winston Reaper or whatever. So yeah, she has slide, but she's still going to be the easiest target to get on top of here because, well, the Lucio's on a wall, right? So we can rule out the Lucio. Because a good Lucio is not going to be dying to a Doom. It just shouldn't happen. He should be on a wall. It's very hard to get Doom's damage off. Why would he not want to go on a Genji?
Deflect or the dash away?
Double jump, gets out of slam, literally just double jumping, and he can also wall climb any, Doom wants to punch, okay, I can literally double jump over it, or I can wall climb, or I can dash away, anything in Genji's kit is okay, you can't really hit me, Doom. I'm off the ground, I'm on a wall, I'm somewhere you don't want to be. So I'm not saying that every Genji's good enough to do that, but I'm saying in theory, it's very hard to get on top of the Lucio, and it's very hard to get on top of the Genji. I think it's pretty self-explanatory why he's not going on you, right?
Yeah.
right. And so that leaves 2 people. You've got the Kiriko, which plenty of Dooms go on Kiriko. But the Kiriko has 2 get out of jail free buttons. So
Glance at
teleport,
TP.
TP is on the same cooldown as slide. Maybe it's 1 second longer. I can't exactly remember, but it's comparable cooldown, and it's a better slide. She's just out, right? It's almost instant. There's no like moving in between. You're just TP and you're gone. And she has Suzu, so it's very hard to get on top of a good Kiriko. And she has wall climb, right? Again, think of a Doom player trying to punch a Kiriko and she can just climb up a wall. Okay, it's very difficult. Good Kiriko players won't die to a Doom. It just won't happen. Especially like high elo, Doom cannot do anything to a Kiriko, and that like by elimination leaves Sojourn. Sojourn's not a good target either. Like for what it's worth, Sojourn's not a great target, but it's the only one he has. So the more you play Doom, the more you'll realize like who you want to go on, who your easiest target to kill is. In your comp, it is the Sojourn. I'm just going to tell you that it is. I can't say whether this Doom's going to want to go on him or not. But that should be his idea. In all of this super long-winded explanation, just to say that you want your Sojourn to be playing with you rather than on an off angle, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
I just spent 6 minutes telling you why your Sojourn should play with you.
It's no problem.
But in the game, and this is a team effort, you want your whole team to think about what I just said, but you need to do that in like 10 seconds and then realize that your Sojourn needs to play with you, right? Like you walk around this corner, you're like, oh, they have Doom. Okay, Doom's gonna want to go on our Sojourn. Okay, our Sojourn should play next to the rest of our team. That should kind of happen. You'll get better and better at that. The more you understand the game, the more you play the game, the more different comps you try out. And all of that to say is that if your team realizes that needs to happen, and then you do that, it's going to be really easy for you to shut down this Doom, because like anything he wants to do, I mean, you have javelins on a short cooldown, fortify blocks his movement, spin messes up his movement, like
just the ultimate middle finger to Doom.
Exactly. Doom players hate you, and that's good. You
I love it.
Right. So.
I hate Doom players.
Yeah, so long talk about theory. You also have a Tracer, which means they're going to want to set up behind you, which means your Sojourn's actually in danger now. Because again, as a Tracer, you're probably still... Tracer in this Elo is just going to kind of shoot whatever's in front of her, but like a good Tracer is going to probably go on the Sojourn.
Yeah.
With the Doom, but yeah. Man, I need to get through this, so
no,
let's
it's
just
no
start
problem.
watching the video.
I really do not mind it. So here my thought was, I don't want to give them any card boost.
Yeah.
The thing was, I wanted to come to me instead of the other way around. But I need to go to them. Because if they come to me, I can shut them down. If I need to go to them, I need to shut them down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing, but...
Yeah, the first thing I want to say is that this is your default cover, not the robot. So I'd like you to be like this angle. This isn't a crime. Like, I'm not gonna cry about this, especially since they have a Doom. You're taking a lot less poke, but both of their DPS are looking at you. You can probably save yourself some cooldowns and sit here. And trust that your team is good enough to not stare into the Sojourn. So that's number one. Number two is that you don't have to force the issue here. Like, you just kind of exist next to the objective, and eventually the Doom's got to do something, right? Like, if he doesn't do something, you're just going to push the objective, okay? So eventually the Doom's going to get in your face or get in your teammate's face, and then it's kind of time to do something. So you're just going to kind of sit here, you're going to poke, you're going to try not to use all of your cooldowns for nothing. Again, just like Sigma, Orisa is very much a cooldown based character, where you don't want to autopilot your abilities. And what I want to say about Orisa is that if you don't have your Fortify, you're basically not a character for like the next 7 seconds or however long your Fortify is going to go on cooldown for. Yeah, so you'll have like your spin, but like your Fortify is your most important cooldown. Your spin is like your first resort to block damage and keep yourself alive. Your javelins.
Usually it's the other way around. I like to Fortify first, then to spin.
Yeah, so the reason
the spin is like to get the fuck out.
The reason we want to spin first is because if we spin and then fortify, by the time we're done fortifying, the spin's off cooldown. Close enough. It's not exact, but it's like you'll have like 2 seconds left on the cooldown. And so you kind of get the spin, fortify, spin rotation, which is better than the fortify, spin.
Okay, yeah, I understand that.
And also, once you don't have fortify is a much better cooldown than spin for very obvious reasons. It's like fortify is incredibly tanky. I mean,
Yeah.
you take like half the damage and you can't get headshot and your gun doesn't heat up as fast.
Plus
So-
I have armor and overhealth.
Yeah, like it's stupid.
It's like 80%. Because armor reduces for 30% and fortified for 50.
Yeah, basically you don't die when you're fortified.
Yeah.
And so because that cooldown is so strong, it means if you don't have fortified, that's when good teams will go on you. So the higher up you play, the more you will realize this very, very, very quickly, is that if you use fortify too early, the next 12 seconds of your life are going to be hell, because they're going to be like, all right, this Orisa is not fortified. Like, we have 12 seconds to get a kill, or we basically can't do anything again. So it's kind of like, do you play any hog?
No, I hate Hook.
I'm still gonna make the analogy. Like, if you don't have hook on hog, you're not a real character.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
Every time Hog hooks, like Hog no hook, and we just walk forward.
Yeah, okay, hog no hook, and it's like, everyone's like, ah, right, I don't care. He's just a fat pig off to the side. Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Orisa's almost the same way, so it's not quite as drastic as that. But if you don't have fortify, it's kind of like, all right, she's not very scary. Like, she can still kill us, but she is very, very easy to kill. You have this super fat head hitbox. Your whole hitbox in general is pretty big, and I believe you don't have that much base HP. 550 actually, I take it back. 550 is decent. So, but it's not like 700 or 650.
Yeah.
You know, you got a lot of armor. Anyways,
yeah,
just kind of get the idea that once you use fortify, you're much less of a threat to them because you're much easier to kill. So. Yep, issue is forced, and we're turning around and we're going to deal with it. And I don't know why I paused so early, but this was kind of I like turning around here. And I want to put a lot of emphasis on what's about to happen next, because this is your job. Like, you shut down everything this guy wants to do, so hopefully we do it here. We tried, but we just don't really have the rotation right. So let's watch this one more time.
I missed the spear by like a kilometer.
Right, we see him use both of his important cooldowns, right? So he still has block, but like his like move around erratically cooldowns are gone for the next 3 seconds or whatever the punch cooldown is.
4, if I'm right.
Yeah, it is 4 now. I think it's 3 at this point because it's been like a sec. Anyways, you have like 3 seconds where you can kind of do what you want to him, and he's gonna block at some point in the next 3 seconds, most likely. So I think to spin first and then spear. You can also, like, if you hit that spear, then he'll be really out of place, and you kind of just do what you want to him. But man, I'm having trouble coaching this fight because it's very, very messy. Like, I feel like he's in a position where it's hard for everybody to follow up on him. And your team is just all over the place. Your Genji's already dead, and your Lucio's not looking this way either. It makes me almost want to go for like a different fight to say what you really should do. The main thing is that spears for block most of the time. That's not a hard rule. It's a little complicated. Sometimes you spear before he blocks, but this particular case, let me watch it one more time. I'm having trouble articulating what I'm thinking. All right, one more time. I don't think this fight's on you after watching it 4 times, but wow, this fight is hard to coach, and I can't tell why. I think this is good, and I think turning around here is good too. Wasted the Suzu. Would have loved the Suzu here. That's not you though. The only thing I can really say, we kind of mistime our spear, but that.
Yeah,
that is not the end of the fight. That's not the fight losing decision. That Doom doesn't die even if you hit that spear because no one's really looking at him. Your Lucio's way out of position. Your Genji died out of position first. That's going to be why we lose the fight. Yeah, actually, I'm going to take back what I said. Just don't think too much about this fight. Turning around for the Doom is the most important thing. The second most important thing is using your cooldowns correctly. But the first most important thing is that we're dealing with them, which we are. I don't think it's your fault that any of these guys die. I don't think you need to be like out here babysitting them. We're just going to move directly onto the second fight because I don't like this fight and I don't think we can take too much valuable information away from it, honestly.
Yeah, I just needed my Spear of cooldown there because it's like, fight is over. Maybe I can get some ult charge, maybe hit something, get some ult charge. That was
right.
That's why I yoinked my Spear.
I really don't like that fight, honestly. I don't feel like I can get too much out of that fight either. So let's just get straight on to the second one. Nice. He's already 1 HP. It's good that we're dealing with him. I'm honestly fine with you just like running around after this guy, like especially if you're gonna be able to connect your cooldowns. Like I've said this 80 times. I need to stop repeating myself, but you can just deny everything this guy wants to do. Spin is really annoying for him. Fortify is really annoying for him, and Spear is even worse. So even if the only thing we do this whole game is chase this guy around, as long as we're hitting our abilities on him, our team should be following up.
As long as he doesn't get value.
Yeah. Right, and that's the good. Okay, a perfect example. I love how this just happened. I said that like spears for block, but it's not a hard rule, right? This is the hard. This is it. This is the exception. This was a great spear, even though he's not blocking.
Because he was already so low.
Right, because you have kill pressure. Right now, you have kill pressure. If someone is shooting him, and someone is, clearly, this guy could die right here. And he doesn't die, and he gets block off. But at this point, he's so low that you might be able to burn him through block. I mean, he's got 30, 40 HP. He gets bailed out from his team, but good play. I like that. Now the question is, did we have to drop down there? Probably yes, but I need to watch. Yeah, I'm okay with dropping down. And one more time to watch and see if the fortify was needed as well. This is how we take this apart.
I just popped it to like survive, not get burst down.
Yeah, if you feel like you're the center of the team's attention, then sometimes it's okay.
In hindsight, I don't think it was a pretty good one. Just not really that much pressure.
Was he trying to punch there, or was that me? No, he was not.
No.
Yeah, so
Fortify was not needed.
Fortify was not needed, but the rest of your play was good. Let's keep watching. We lose ourselves, right? Do we feel lost here, or is it me? I feel a little lost.
I was like, I can chase Doom, so I'm trying to put some pressure on some other stuff. I was getting calls that someone needed help, and that Orisa was back. Yep. I think it was just a little bit lost, also.
Yeah. So here's my advice: if you decide on the, Doom's kind of too far away for me to do anything about, so I'm going to do something else. My advice is to like really get on top of them, like right on top of them. Okay, your hitbox is very big, very easy to hit. Even if this Sojourn is like 20 meters away from you, she's going to be hitting most of her shots. But you have this like awkward moving projectile and this spear that's kind of hard to hit. And so, of course, she has slide to get away from you here. Does she get up? She doesn't even get up. Okay, but you should be using your cooldowns and getting like actually as close as physically possible to this person. It's core to Orisa's gameplay, simply because you're getting hit no matter how close you are, but you're not hitting them unless you're either insanely good at tracking and prediction or literally on top of them. So if you're gonna make the decision to go after these people, then I want to see you like really just getting on top of them. Good spear. That guy was so lost. Awesome. Yeah, good. Very good. Very good. So since we're not in the Orisa mirror, our cooldowns are going to be a lot different than when we're mirroring against a tank similar to us. But this time our abilities are more, we're either disrupting Doom or really have kill potential onto another player. So we can use spin to get up on top of like a Sojourn if we realize she doesn't have
Is that a
slide.
good thing to do? Spin to like close a distance? Because I'm always thinking like, okay, this thing
Yes.
is blocking projectiles and incoming damage. I can just use it to get the fuck away.
Yeah, so one way to get a very easy kill on Orisa. So last fight was a great example. I'm not going to go back. Just pretend in your head it's like when you were shooting at the Sojourn who's kind of far away, right? Let's say that Sojourn is a character that cannot just slide away from you on a very short cooldown. That's definitely not broken and doesn't need a nerf. Anyways, let's say it's a Cassidy because they have a Cassidy right now.
Yeah.
If that was a Cassidy, you can spin right on top of his head, like actually as close as possible, and then you're point blank. You go for javelin, and then if you hit javelin, you have a bunch of very easy follow-up shots on his head because he's locked in an animation, right? And so the trigger to make that play and to realize that you can use that spin is how much damage you're taking and how much kill pressure do they have on you, right? So into this comp, they have a Doom. Doom doesn't want anything to do with you. The Tracer's on your back line, and then their support line's not going to kill you. You're an Orisa. So that's your trigger, like realizing, actually it's your Cassidy, so my bad for not realizing that. But let's just pretend that they had a Cassidy.
Yeah, just pretend it was a Cassidy. Yeah.
Right? You realize that you can't die there in the position that you're in, so you can use that spin to get right on top of somebody.
Okay.
It's you don't want to think of it as just an escape. That's very limiting. I'd say honestly I use it to get in more than I use it to get out.
Okay.
Let's just watch.
I really wanted to bring that Sojourn.
The lead is almost ours.
Yeah, nice try. Man, it's your Cass's fault because he needs to play like with you. Like
I wanted to help the Cass.
your
because,
Cass needs to be here, realistically. But I'm fine with you turning around. Yeah, I don't know why he runs away from you, really. But you can maybe be even a little bit more up in this Doom's face.
Yeah, maybe spin to close a distance too.
Right. Yeah. And this is just 100% positioning mistake from Cassidy, but again, maybe something you can do about it if you hit the spear, if you spin up on him. Who knows? I don't know if we suited him either. Again, that's not your job, but we're so busy trying to shoot the people on the high ground that we don't Suzu our 1 HP Cassidy. Not you, but there's so many ways that guy could have lived and you guys wouldn't have to fight this 4v5 that just none of them happen, right? So he could have positioned better. You maybe could have gotten on top of the Doom a little better. Your Kiriko could have Suzu'd him, but none of that happens. Like everything goes wrong and he dies. I think we autopilot our Fortify here.
Yeah, Fortify not needed.
Yeah, and this, even if you press your spin and your javelin straight off of cooldown every single time, but you use your Fortify well, you'll be a good Orisa. But if you autopilot your Fortify, you will never like make it to the next level. You just won't, because that cooldown is just so important. It is.
Yeah.
It is incredible. So yeah. I think we're gonna see, not surprisingly, a lot of the same things we saw with the Sigma gameplay, because these characters are like pretty similar. Your job is a lot different, right? This game you're peeling, your Sigma you're not peeling at all, but you're still on a hero that does the same thing as the Sigma, in that all of your value is going to come from being very good at using your cooldowns.
Yeah.
Good spear, even though he's not blocking, because you're disrupting him, you're making him use his cooldowns and making him look at you, not looking at the people that he actually wants to kill. So let's make sure, this is definitely not just a you issue, but we're not shooting the block. You're not a Doom player, right? But if you do ever end up playing Doom, if people don't shoot your block, man, your character is useless. He is horrible without Empowered Punch. So let's kind of have this switch that we're developing in our brain, that when he blocks, we just don't shoot it.
Yeah.
And again, this is like a 95-5 rule, where sometimes you do burn him through the block.
If he's slow, for example.
Right. If your team is like Doom, 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 and he's blocking and he's 20 HP, you still shoot him. but 95% of the time we're not going to shoot the blocking Doom because we don't want him to have empowered punch. That's bad.
Yeah. It was right at the moment that it was like precision timing.
Yeah.
It's like we used it at the same time.
Yeah. So
it's quite unfortunate.
Yep. Let's talk about the ult briefly. This time, I will say it's unfortunate. If you want to move up to higher level play, though, you need to think about ways that you're going to be able to get value out of this ult, because this ult is not like inherently great. You know, people can run away, people can use abilities to get out, and so you're going to need to do extra work to make this ult good.
I hear some people say, like when I watch streamers, it's like a glorified fortify because it gives you fortify. So if you're like low, you can pop it to get the fortify and maybe hope that your team can pump healing in you in time so that you don't die. I hear sometimes that.
Yeah, you can do that. I've seen some people do that. The main thing I'm thinking about, though, the first way you're going to start getting extra value out of this ult is cooldown tracking. So
the Suzu.
Do we do that? Yeah, do we do that right now? Do you do that? Not
like,
this specific example, just like in general, do you think about it?
Sometimes I just yeet it to get some cooldowns out. Like I'm always I know Orisa ult is not that good, so when I'm saying I'm ulting, then I probably know they're gonna use speed or they're gonna use Suzu, and that's actually something I try to do. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this quickly. If your goal is to get these cooldowns out, then there needs to be a next step for once these cooldowns are out, right? So if you're like, I'm gonna Orisa ult and I'm gonna get the beat and the Suzu out, there needs to be a, and then we're gonna do this because they don't have beat and Suzu, right? If there is no, and then we're gonna do this, then I would say it's not good. Just getting it out is not enough unless you have a plan after it's out. So like in this case, you can say, all right, I'm gonna Orisa ult, I'm gonna make sure the Lucio and the Kiriko are in it. We're gonna get these ults out, and then we can overclock, like afterwards, right? So that's a plan. That's a fight plan. We get the big abilities out that are gonna save them, and then we bring out our killing machine. Okay?
Yeah.
Good. Otherwise,
so that's communication with the team then.
Yeah. Otherwise, if there is no and then, right? If there's no kill afterwards, what we want to do is we want to get those abilities out, or even just straight up wait for them, and then use our our ult, because
our ult, yeah.
And actually, Orisa has the tools to get those cooldowns out herself. That's the cool thing, is that you don't you don't have to wait for your team to do this for you. You kind of just like Orisa is a very weird character in that you can kind of just walk at anybody you want, and for some amount of time you're not going to die because of your kit. Even if everyone's looking at you, for some amount of time you can live. And so you can walk at an Orisa or at a Kiriko or a Lucio, and you can spin at them, or you can throw your javelin at them, and you can get those cooldowns out. Maybe you can't get beat out, but you can definitely get a Suzu out or get a TP out, and try and just give your ult like the percentage, like an extra percentage chance to do something. So also ulting people that don't have like an escape ability is cool. Whether that is just like in their kit they don't have one, so like a very
cast,
mobile
for
hero.
example, yeah.
Yep, like a cast or an Ana is a great one. I know they're not running an Ana, but I hate getting ulted when I'm an Ana player because it takes me 7 years to walk out of this thing.
Especially when you don't have a Kiriko in your team, it's even harder.
Yeah, or the other thing you can do is if they do have an escape ability, you just wait for them to use it, or you force it out, and then they're essentially the same as a character that doesn't have one, right? So
also, is it good sometimes? I try to use this ult. I did it last game as a haha, you can't get here. Like, this is a dead zone. If you step one place in this, you're dead. I sometimes use it as dead too.
I would say it has its place, but it's more niche than you're probably thinking of. So it's not just like, I'm gonna zone this place off during the fight, because then you're out of the fight for 4 seconds. And even though they can't walk there, it's most players have a brain enough to not do that. And the higher up in the elo you go, the more and more people will just not walk into your Orisa ult.
Or just
the niche situations where I'm talking about are like overtime. I think it's only overtime is where like let's say you're pushing in a payload and there's 3 meters left to the end, and they have a ball coming out to stall. You just like press Q on the payload, and then when the ball gets there, you're at like 400% charge or whatever. And he has to touch or his team loses. That's like the only situation where it's like, this is a dead zone. Think of it like a Ramatra ult in that case, where like they have to come to the payload or they lose the game. Then your ult is very strong. So yeah. We're autopiloting our Fortify again. Let's make sure we break this habit. When next time you play Orisa, even if it's the only thing you think about all game, just be like, all right, do I actually need to use Fortify? And if the answer is no, then don't use it. Spin and Javelin, I'm much less concerned about because they're shorter cooldowns and generally used in wider situations. So I'm not going to talk too much about those abilities. I'm mainly going to talk about your Fortify for ability usage. The other thing with Orisa is target priority, but man, she is... You kind of just shoot what you can shoot at the time, and you know, if you have your spear and your spin, you can kind of get a kill on anything that's 200 HP. So
yeah, especially at this fight, people were yelling Surgeon, but I was shooting at her, and then I lost track of her, so I got really confused, and I just shot at anything that just came into my sight.
Yeah, kind of anything that moves. Yeah.
I got this, but some is in my sight, and then it's not. Then I get really confused about it, and I just do whatever.
Yeah. So let's just look right here. Let's take this as a moment. We're in a position where we are the focus of the enemy team now, right? I guess it's your Lucio.
Now Fortify.
It's about to be you. You don't have Fortify for 8 more seconds.
Fortify would be a good.
But wouldn't it be nice if you had Fortify right now?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like right now, wouldn't you just love to be gold? So.
Yeah.
Good. I love that. You didn't hit the play, but the attempt was there. And if you were a little bit better mechanically, of course, comes with time. You're on top of her with spin for a little bit longer, right? So you only hit the last tick, which is why you didn't really have a great opportunity. But if you hit the entire spin on her, the jab is very easy because she's locked in the air. She's stuck. So spin, 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 and then jab right at the end. It's very potent. It's very easy to kill people. Oh, a little slow on the jab. I think it's okay. But
is it off cooldown?
Right. No, it just came off is what I'm saying. So he blocked. The first thing he did when I blocked was I looked at your cooldown bar to see like, can we jab? And I saw 1 second left, I think, is when he started blocking right there. So you actually 2 seconds, but I would have liked to see, personally, I would have been spamming this jab just like as soon as it comes off cooldown, maybe I can catch the tail end of this block, right?
Okay. Yeah.
If you're more comfortable at tank than I am and you realize that you're not going to make this window, then that's different. Like if you consciously think, oh, his block is going to be over before my jab's back, and you don't try and jab, that's okay. But in my mind, I'd be like, maybe I can just get the very tail end of this, right? Boom, it's back up right now. And maybe in a perfect world, yeah, you can get that jab on him and get him out of that block. And if your Cassidy's a little more patient, Doom is dead here. So now that's a stars aligning situation, but it is a learning experience, learning opportunity.
Of course. It's way too late. Now cold.
Yep. You see it. You see it on your own now. You don't even need me. You see it on your own. Why did we fortify? Right? I don't know. Why did we fortify?
I think this is an automatism. Just like it's a cooldown. Donk.
Yeah. So let's stop that. Yep.
Break the moment.
Again, spin and jab are what they are. Like I'm not worried about spin and jab at all until you fix your fortify. So
yeah.
Nice. Very nice. We walked on top of it. It's just maybe an awareness thing. Yeah, we did. No, we did. We're away from it. Yeah, so just an awareness thing. I actually watched the last scrim block too. You did the same thing. So I don't even know how to tell.
Why actually?
Right, I don't know how to tell you not to do this, but just like don't do this, right? Just when pulse bomb hits the ground, you need to make a mental marker
I
in
think
your
I
head.
did. I think I just didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
And then I saw it, just like, oh, there it is.
There it is. Yep. And now I have no health. And now maybe I die here. Yep, I die here. Yep. Oh, there you go.
The obvious thing happened.
We know why that. Yeah, we know why that happened. The worst part is, I think we had fortify that whole time, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. This time, like the one time we maybe needed fortify, we didn't use it. It's like, okay, well, leaves. And man, I hate to rag on you like this, but like,
No,
we,
shoot.
we were at the cover. We were 7 HP, and then we went away from the cover. And it's like, well, why did we do that? Right? I don't know. Okay, I'm just gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that we went here because there was cover, and pretend like this didn't exist. But
like, which
look at
bit are you
this. Look at
talking
this.
about?
We're actually safe, right? Right now, we're not taking damage.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say we're actually safe. We're 7 HP, and we may or may not have a healer here. We do not. All right, we're not safe. But let's say our Kiriko is still alive in this fight. We're somewhat safe, because we have an infinite health shield that's blocking the entire enemy team from shooting us.
The wall.
And then,
I walk out of it.
hello, enemy team. I have 7 HP. Please shoot me. Right? Yeah. So,
Yeah, I understand.
yeah. All right. What's the issue here?
I chased a tracer.
And we're not ready.
Oh yeah, my team is all on the high ground.
We're not ready. Our tracers. Well, I don't know what's going on with our tracer, but this guy is like not. We're not with you. Basically, is what I'm saying. If the enemy team is good enough to focus you,
I'm dead right now.
You have to get your gold out, right? And luckily, fortify is good enough that you can live with just fortify here. But your fortify will get
reason why I use it.
Your fortify will get forced out here. And potentially your Kiriko might think that you're going to die here because she doesn't realize that you have fortify available. And she teleports down to try and save you, and then she dies, right? So
yeah.
we don't want either of those things.
What happened was I did not want to give them the spawn. I think I said to my team, I'm going to touch point because I don't want to give them spawn.
Right. Good idea, but we can do that. We can do that from over here. Also, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually contest the robot from this this railing right here. So if you if you break this railing and you kind of stand here, the robot doesn't walk forward. So
okay, good to know actually.
Yeah, it's actually really annoying, and I wish I didn't have to teach people that was in the game, but it is in the game. So. I actually think this fortify is okay. I think it's okay actually. Right, we could have used it before we got punched, but once you become punched, you're like automatically the focus of the enemy team, right? Oh, our Doom just punched someone in the wall. Let's all shoot the person. It's like an automatic thing, right? Even if no one's calling that on their team. Man, I wish I had a word for this. Maybe I'll make one up soon. But it's like an automatic trigger for their focus. So some abilities do this, right?
Trigger warning. Yeah,
so like if you javelin somebody and your whole team sees it, everyone's going to shoot the person that just got javelined, whether it was called or not. If Doom punches somebody into a wall, everyone's going to shoot the person that just got punched, whether it was called or not. There's like certain things in the game where that just happens. And so when you get punched, it's kind of like, oh, they're all going to shoot me now. Fortify. Like, I'm okay with this. I think this is fine.
Yeah, because also there were 3 people looking at me and shooting it.
Yeah, and you got pretty good mitigation out of that thing. I think it was okay. What do you think I'm gonna say here?
The spear, spam spear.
Not the spear. Anything else? Let's watch it one more time.
Oh, using spear before anything actually happens.
Okay, that too. The one thing I really want to focus on here, we get punched out of the fight, right? And then we use our spin to get back in the fight, which inherently is not bad, but the problem is we use it to get in when we're 50% HP. The majority of their team is still there, and we don't have fortify anymore, right? So, let me try and illustrate what I mean. We're spinning in, and right now, our spin just ended, right? Okay?
Yeah.
Right, you see my issue now. We're out of mitigation tools.
Out in the open,
All we have
juicy target to shoot at.
Our HP and cover, and right now we don't even have cover. So, you should feel scared when you do something like this because we don't know if we're gonna live. We gotta hope our supports bail us out of this one. So yeah. If we're gonna go back in, let's make sure that we at least have some amount of cover. And this is not a great place to find cover, but yeah. Wow, that tracer is just unloading on our backside right now. I don't know if I don't know if that's something you can think about right now.
Our tracer, you mean?
No, their tracer is unloading on you. You haven't seen him, right? But
no.
But in the back of your headphones, you can hear every time he dumps a clip, we'd lose 100 health. And so, although you've never seen the tracer on your screen, right? I'm gonna go back
She's still doing damage.
I'm gonna go back 10 seconds, and we're gonna watch the tracer, okay?
Yeah. Oh, like that.
You see, she's just unloading into us the whole fight.
Yeah.
And even if we maybe aren't looking at her,
she's still doing the damage.
Let's try and pick it up, right? Because somehow our health is dropping, and no one we're looking at is really doing that much to us. So somewhere.
I think it was also like a little panicky in my head. Fuck! My health. Where's it go? Where is it?
Right. We're gonna watch it back one more time. This is gonna be the last thing we do because I gotta go because I just kept talking and talking and talking. But this time, I want you specifically to be watching your health bar and listening for the tracer bullets. And then eventually, the more and more you do this, you'll realize this in game. You'll be like, why is my health dropping? And you'll hear the tracer shoot and you'll see your health drop at the same time. And you'll like make that connection, right? Oh, I'm getting pounded by a tracer in the back. This is the threat I need to deal with. Yeah.
Now? Yeah. I hear it now.
Right. Yep. You got it now, right? So.
Yeah.
There you go. That's gonna be the last fight we watch. I wish I didn't even get halfway through this game, but
no worries.
Hopefully we learned something.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, not autopilot abilities, especially Fortify on Orisa.
Yeah.
I think for the most part our positioning is pretty good, especially for the rank we're in. I think it's mainly okay. Yeah, not autopilot abilities. Our target priority on Orisa was better than it was on Sigma. On the Sigma versus Sigma matchup, we never want to, not never. We mostly don't want to shoot the other Sigma.
Of course.
Going for squishies. So,
yeah.
Before I hop out of here, do we have any questions, anything specific we want to talk about real quick?
No, not really. Basically, I just, because you said and you need to go soon, I just dropped it all away. So, I got everything out as I wanted. Thank you.
All right. Sweet. If you ever want to get another coaching session, just seriously feel free to message me. I don't bite. I love doing stuff like this. You can see, like, I'm just constantly rambling about game theory and stuff.
So. Like it, the more I can learn, maybe I can get to the main roster one day.
Yeah. Go into game when you have time, when it's not 2 a.m. and you're probably falling asleep. Focus on like one thing at a time, you know, making sure your abilities are better. And when you feel like you've worked on all the stuff in this session, and that's now your new autopilot, right? Is at a higher level.
Fortify.
Yep. Then we can have another coaching session. Now that our Fortify usage is good, what's next, right? What's next?
Yeah.
So